That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm, articulate and intelligent.
Gregg's a bitch. That's all.
I find them offensive as hell.
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, fuck them.
Ooh, terrible! Bad! Not bad! Oh, pretty good. Okay, decent, fair, great. I loved it. Go
This sucks. Yeah, you really gotta wonder how the stuff gets made.
Oh shit! My TV's on. Here we go. There we go. It's off. Welcome to Straight Red Card, where apparently the NFL was playing on Prime, Amazon Prime.
How'd you
right?
get to watch it then?
I have it somehow. I don't know why.
I'll check our bank statements.
But yeah, you better. Because we're paying for Amazon Prime for ages, and then I canceled it. I think this is through me. Must be through me. Has to be. I think I got on like the 30-day trial, and then they just kept. Well, you know how they do it. They just keep charging you until you turn it off. But I'm gonna leave it on during NFL season. The turd in the background says, "Welcome back to the Straight Red Card on the 21st night of September. How can Gregg win fans, you ask? Well, that's easy. Just let the fans know Gregg is the first U.S. men's national team manager to kick his wife." Oh, no. But she wasn't his wife at the time. And, of course,
just a special lady friend.
Right. We know a lot more details about what happened that day. And it's not anything we would still begrudge Gregg with now. I mean, there are plenty other reasons not to have Gregg as the manager of this team. Gregg's wife punched him in the face first. Yes, this is widely known at this point, but obviously that's not. I don't know if it was a punch slap or a punch, or I mean, it's hard to say. Not a whole lot of people witnessed this, but people have heard the stories over the years, and those have dribbled down to us. And in fact, when I did know about it, now everybody seems to know. Remember during the show when I was telling you what probably really happened, and I kept saying probably, but I actually had already been told what really happened, but I had to pretend I didn't know.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
Because I didn't want to get anybody in trouble.
Apparently it was very well kept secret that nobody else knew except for our source.
Yeah, exactly. But it turns out lots of people know.
Were the only ones who didn't know.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the industry, the system, already knew.
And I think when they interviewed Gregg's wife at U.S. Soccer about the incident, she was pretty blunt about how it really went down. And that's kind of another reason where they're like, okay, well, all right, so all right, you started it, but he still shouldn't have kicked you. I mean, seriously. And multiple times as well. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there.
I actually heard that she also said that if he had laughed at her after she's punched him or slapped her or whatever, if he had laughed at her and said, "You hit like a girl," they wouldn't have gotten married.
No, that probably wouldn't have gone over well either. But kicking her doesn't sound like a good option. I mean, I told you about when my girlfriend Heather punched me in the face on the way walking back from a bar because she asked me the ridiculous question, and she said the following. You know that time you were hanging out with Wendy? Like, if she made a move on you, I want you to be really honest right now. Would you, done her? And if I was smart, I would have said, oh, of course not. Of course.
Derek digs the redheads.
No, Heather was the redhead, actually.
Oh.
So anyhow.
I was making a joke about Wendy's. But
yeah, no. So I was like, I don't know, maybe. That's the wrong answer, by the way. Just to anybody else, but I was like 21 years old. So she said, be honest with me. And I sort of was. And that still wasn't good enough. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Anyhow, that ended the night at BW3's and drinking beer. And we were pretty toasted. So we're walking home and she punches me in the face. And I just did you just fucking punch me in the face? Just out of nowhere, too. I was walking next to her and she just swung, bam, and nailed me. Just hit me right in the fucking jaw. Anyhow, good stories. Berlin Amerikaner. No way that's Colin Reese. What a legend.
He
He's
shows up
around.
from time to time. Just
He
liven up
does.
the chat.
He does. Okay, Berlin says, well, good news is the likes to views is up. Bad news is views are down because Brett forgot to tweet the show. Oh,
It's true. It's true. I actually did tweet it at work, and work's been doing something funky with Twitter.
yeah. They
Maybe it's getting hit by the filter because of X. I don't know. It's possible, I guess.
could be. Yeah, very much.
Every now and then, I'll post a tweet, and it'll cut. If I don't pay attention, I'll just move on about my day. But sometimes it comes back and says, "Hey, there's an error. This didn't tweet or whatever. Submit."
Right.
So then I got to keep doing it until it finally submits. And must have been what happened today.
Well, some weird shit does happen on there on occasion where I've posted something and it doesn't show up for a half an hour. I'm like, what the fuck? So anyhow, it's just one of those things. I did want to mention that the Canadian Federation, I believe, who's going bankrupt, got their $5 million loan approved from FIFA. Let me get this fucking straight. There are 65 fucking billionaires in goddamn Canada, and not one of them will give this poor, sad Canadian Soccer Federation $5 million so they can keep their head above water. Not one of those greedy pricks is a fucking Canadian national team soccer fan. Not a single one of the 65 billionaires that lives in Canada cares about Canadian soccer in any regards. They're all hockey fans. All of them.
Pretty much.
I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Either that or curling fans. I don't know.
I mean, $5 million from a billionaire. A billionaire? That's shit nothing. And it's a nonprofit, so they could write it off. So I guess if it works the same in Canada. Jason Gonzalez Ortorega, 199. Again with the Soto. Soto better than Ferreira. Soto is injured. Later, brothers. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks
we appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah, I will say this. If you've seen the new FIFA 23 player ratings for the United States, it's absolutely absurd. Ferreira is ranked above everybody. He's ranked above fucking Pepe. Why? What are they watching?
Double hat tricks. Come on.
What are they watching at AE? It's still AE, right?
EA.
EA, I mean, Electronic Arts.
It's in the game.
It's in the game. Well, I don't think it's in the game because if you've got Ferreira 3 points better or whatever it was than Pepe, then you're just simply
That was
not
the big one.
watching the
I was
game.
trying to remember who the big one was, but Ferreira had the same
being
score
better
as
than
McKinney.
Yeah.
What?
It's just fucking.
What?
You got to be stupid. Hire someone who knows the players and has studied the players.
You know what? This is perfect timing. We're talking about it. Let's
What?
show a little bit of game playtime here.
Okay.
All right. Goes. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah! Nice save.
Okay.
Uh-oh. He's going to score.
Was that
how
Cristiano
livid would you be,
Ronaldo?
man? How livid would you be?
I mean, that's just silly because that would never happen. No new dude would head the bar instead of the ball. God damn. Is that supposed to be Ronaldo? I'm wondering. Number 9. Number 9.
I don't know.
Number 9.
See if
Anyhow,
he was back here, but
he missed it. Is this EA?
yes, this got to be FIFA.
Gotta be. Okay.
Got to be.
All right. So anyhow, Canada can't pay their bills, or I guess maybe they can now, because they have to get a loan from FIFA of all people. You got to go get a loan from one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. Your fucking organization doesn't have the goddamn contacts for any of the 65 billionaires that live in Canada. You can't ring them up and go, hey, can you spare a nickel? Can you spare a dime? Can you just throw us a little cash so we can survive and pay our players to come play for us and get them planes and hotel rooms? I mean, how hard is this? I think I could do that. You give me the Canadian job tomorrow and I'll find a way to reach out to those billionaires. I guarantee I'll find a way.
I also feel like you got a decent team. They're going to draw on people. I feel like I feel like the team must be run by the Canadian government as far as how money is spent and utilized.
No, that'd be against the law.
If they can't, I'm just saying, I'm being sarcastic, and since they're obviously not using their funds properly, if they're going bankrupt in that sense, maybe you need to renegotiate some stuff. Say, hey guys, we're not drawing in enough money. The views that Canadian TV won over here isn't warranting the $25 a day that they're showing our shit. So maybe they need to renegotiate and say, hey, we'll bring you guys in to get you guys all, chemistry built up and everything like that, but we're not going to be paying you that much.
Well, how do we stay afloat, right? We stay afloat because we host Gold Cup, we host Nations League, and 70% of the stadiums are filled with our opponents' fans, but we get their money too, right? Mm-hmm. Where Canada, I don't know. Advertisement money, TV rights. I mean, I feel like our overall thing is going to be more revenue than theirs. Right. So
just on the numbers alone, how many people in Canada versus America? I'm not saying that all of America's watching the game or anything like that, but still,
it's about the same percentage of Americans. Probably maybe more Americans actually watch soccer than Canadians do percentage-wise.
Especially depending on who we were playing.
Because
Mexico, all of a sudden those numbers skyrocket.
That's what I'm saying. That whole thing with having Mexico here and other countries, we're pouring in the cash. They're not really reaping much benefit from any of that, or reaping. I said reeking. And so, I don't know. But, there are 65 billionaires that live in Canada, so figure it out. Also, did you know that the yellow-legged hornet has reached Georgia?
I don't really hear anything about hornets, man.
Supposedly that killer hornet, that gigantic killer.
Oh, the one from Japan or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw a headline. Thought, oof, that's horrible. Mike B says, all those Canadians are saving their money to try and buy the maple leaves.
It's not even the hockey team. They're just talking about the leaves that fall off the trees.
I guess. It's really sad what's happened to Canadian hockey. They're not really relevant as much these days and as often in the NHL. Yeah. And I don't care because I haven't really watched hockey on a regular basis since I was like 13 years old when I was a New York Islanders fan.
I mean, I guess in that sense, I don't know enough to know how many of the Canadian, like, let's just say national, I don't know what they do with the international aspect of hockey. Like Olympics, is that still considered college based?
No. They bring the pros now.
They bring the pros.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I don't know how many Canadians fill out the rest of the NHL teams, or how many Canadian players fill out the rest of the NHL.
Oh, a lot.
To simply sit there and say like, the Maple Leafs and the Whalers and shit like that, or the Fire or Flames. Are the Flames still a thing?
Calgary Flames. I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't watched hockey in a long time.
I don't think so. I don't think they're around.
Chris Gary is our resident hockey fanatic. I see him a lot on Twitter talking about hockey. And he's an
Islanders. So I go back to the Billy Smith days, Trottier, Mike Bossy, those days. That's when I was really into hockey. And I played it too. So there's that. Jesse Negron for $1.99. Are you guys Xbox or PlayStation for FIFA? I have an Xbox. Not really my decision because my kids have them. So in order for me to play with them, I had to buy an Xbox. So I thought. Yeah. So I got the Xbox One.
Unfortunately, I bought Xbox so I could play with Derek. That hasn't panned out at all.
What's wrong with that? Why can't we play FIFA?
We could. It just hasn't really panned out for us. Our schedules and
it's been crazy. Yep.
But no, it was we're on Xbox. And, I mean, I would have preferred to have bought the game digitally on my PC, but then there's no way in hell I would have ever been able to play with Derek, who has an Xbox original one, not the newest One X or S or whatever.
I think it's 1X or 1S, something like that. Yeah.
So he doesn't have that. Yeah. So
all right. So I mean, that's literally all.
We can play with our fellow PS4s and Xbox Oneers. But yeah, we can't play against people who have it on PC or the new Xbox or the PS5. PC Master Race.
Tonight's beer is Golden Drac, one of the best beers in the world.
You learned, Derek. Way to go, Derek. Putting it in front of you instead of holding it behind you.
I know. I'm not even kidding that it's one of the best beers in the world. Anybody else had a Golden Drac ever? Anyone out there? Let us know.
I heard it tastes like a watered down PBR.
Bullshit. Then you heard from an idiot. It's got lovely caramel and kind of like smoked plum flavor. Not smoked, cooked plum.
Any leather?
No leather. I know you're really interested in the leather flavor.
Waiting for you to get one with leather, yeah.
And that's from somebody who got a pegging right before the show started. Go EB! All right.
Yeah. What can you do? Gotta keep the spice in the family alive, going,
The timbers burning, yes. The embers burning. So not the timbers. You don't want your timber burning. Just the embers. All right. So you got any other things before we actually hit soccer tonight?
Of course. Well, we already touched base on some soccer. We talked about FIFA. We talked about Canadian soccer. This is actually a very unique show because instead of doing our fluff was kind of soccer there.
Yeah, it was. And you know how we always tell people to share it with their grandma?
Here we are.
This is grandma. This is one of the people that watches our show on a regular basis. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, she just wanted to try tubing on her 90th birthday.
Which is completely insane. Because at 90, the bones have to be getting brittle, right?
Yeah. I'm going to say, I don't necessarily know if I would say she looks 90 here, but she could, I guess.
Oh,
she looks like a very active 90-year-old lady, if you will.
I will be able to tell you in about 5 minutes if she's really 90.
5 minutes? It's an 8-second skit, man.
Well, I'll tell you in 5 seconds then.
Do I want to do this?
I don't know.
I don't want to.
No.
Do I want to do this?
I
don't want to.
Woo!
Well, if that were really her, that would be an issue.
Should be attending Nana's funeral here, man.
I thought this was going to be a video where she really gave it a go. So I feel a little cheated here, Brett.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. Is that maybe she did really give it a go. It's on the back of a pontoon boat. Because those pontoon boats get a whole 5 or 6 miles an hour, barely create a wake. She can go on that shit.
Hold on. My parents have a pontoon boat, and it goes a lot faster than that.
I'm being a little sarcastic here. It's not 5 or 6 miles an hour. I mean, you could push the boat faster than 5 or 6 miles an hour.
Sure.
But no, I mean, but yeah. Have you ever gone tubing up behind a pontoon boat?
Mm-hmm.
It is like a lazy fucking river. That's what it feels like. You're not getting knocked. You don't even have to hold on. You just go boneless on the thing, and you're never gonna fall off.
You're not going airborne like this dude. That's for sure. Not on a pontoon.
Where's Grandma? There she goes. Woo! But that does not look like her though.
No, not at all.
Curse Blanc.
So they needed to, I don't know, do a little editing there so it looked like she's wearing the same outfit at least. Yeah, something like that. But still, a nice idea. I understand the humor behind it.
Well, Derek, I know both you and I and probably some of our listeners have had pets that have recently passed.
Yes.
And I don't want to make light of it.
Right.
But I can at least find some humor in some fuck-ups when it comes to from vets talking to their the owners of the pets.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Hopefully this is not triggering anyone.
Hi, Dexter is dead. 1010. Hi, Dexter is ready now. Sorry, stupid autocorrect.
I was just having Dexter get his claws trimmed. What the hell happened?
What the hell?
I love how they send the photo afterwards, to prove that Dexter's alive.
So, did he meant to type? Hi, Dexter is
ready, but I mean,
ready.
It's one. Well, I mean,
Probably ready.
Ready. Get rid of the Y and put a D for R. Means dead. Yeah, I think they typed in ready and they fucked up, and it autocorrected to dead maybe.
I think he probably typed "deady," and it autocorrected to just "dead."
They could have
that would be my guess. Yeah. Well, either way, Dexter's a goner, so 1 minute's not going to make much difference here.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, when I took my dog in, he couldn't even stand like that. So, yeah, he was ready to go.
I mean, I'm looking at that dog, and as cute as it is, those legs. I mean, I feel like it's like pug territory. I mean, that's a chunky dog for that size.
I get it, but we need to know
that dog.
We need to know what's wrong with him, and we don't. And
I think the dog got his nails trimmed. That's it.
He could be blind, deaf, shitting all over the house. As you well know, that's what happens near the end. My dog, was pissing all over himself, sleeping in his own fucking urine. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Would Derek have sex with Grandma if she had an English accent? No, I probably would not. I'm not even interested in having sex with good-looking people. So I don't know why I would have sex with a grandma.
Become asexual? Is what we're seeing?
No, I just become I don't know.
Self-sexual, huh?
Self-sexual, yes. I'm 100 committed to myself, and so I think that's fine. You know what? I spent many years married. I've had many girlfriends, and I just don't need it anymore. It's fine.
No, I'm not. I can't even make that joke. All right.
All right. Is this
so we got a little bit of video. Yes. This is our last fluff piece for the night, guys. We had about 5 minutes of fluff. That's all we had.
Okay.
So we got a little conversation here going on between two gentlemen.
What's wrong with that dude's head? He's got a vagina on top of his head.
Have you? There's a video clip of from Family Guy of a woman smoking, and she's got a baby in one hand. And she doesn't have an ashtray, so she pushes in the baby's head and uses it as an ashtray.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like must have happened here.
That is weird.
I don't know.
He's got like a little pocket pussy on top of his skull. I mean, if something horrible happened to him, I apologize. It's just the first thing I noticed.
Yeah.
All right. Give me your worst. Roast me. All right. Give me your worst. Roast me.
See, I did not know that was going to happen. That was well done.
Yes, it was incredibly well done. So I feel like this must be done on Omegle or something like that. For those who don't know Omegle, I'm sure you guys all know what Omegle was.
Well, that's where the Kermit the Frog guy.
Yeah, Kermit the Frog one was in there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where I became aware of Omegle from watching the Do videos. Actually.
Okay. Well,
we talked about the Do before, but yeah.
This guy plays darts, so I'm gonna give him a pass on his pocket pussy.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe he got a dart popped in his head, and his head deflated a little bit.
Dude, that would need to be one big ass dart. That's all I gotta say.
Maybe they're playing with lawn darts.
It looks like a dart the size of a penis. That's what it looks like. All right.
Usually, when you hear skull fucking, it's usually through the eyes, and that's it. You imagine. Not necessarily through the top of the head.
Well, whatever gets you through the night. I was going to say something worse, but I toned it down.
All right, Derek, we're 25 minutes in. Let's talk about soccer.
Let's do it.
Enough of the fluff, Derek. Calm down.
Even flow. Let's get on with the show.
All right. So, Derek, you'd posted earlier this week, actually on the 17th. Yeah. Talking about hey, Berhalter, maybe you should include Brooks.
Oh yeah. Yep. That was pretty popular.
Picked up some stream, some what were your final numbers as of today? Let's see here.
It was a Rolling
I'll pull it up and take a look here real quick.
Yeah, it was a Rolling Stone. It acquired much moss.
25,000 views, 347 likes. There were 31 reposts / quote tweets.
That's good for a guy who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
There's only 3 quote tweets. There's a lot of retweets. So a lot of people like this. You got some responses. You got some people that didn't necessarily agree with your opinion.
Well, Colin took a shot at me.
Yeah.
Immediately. Oh yeah, really? Look. thinking your left center back needs to be left-footed.
Oh,
is
yeah,
basically
yeah.
AYSO. It's like, dude, that's not what I was trying to say. But anyhow,
You know what? It
was
helps.
okay.
It's the same situation of having a left back being left-footed makes a little bit of a difference because every right-footed left back we have has off and on games.
Depending
More
on how you
off
set
and on.
up, yes. Obviously, traditionally, you want a great left-footed left back. That's just traditional. But we're going to be told we're being too AYSO if we say that. So,
Well,
but I replied to Colin, and I replied in a very, I think, nice way, and just explained to him why I felt that Gregg usually likes to play with a left-footed left center back, especially in the big games. That's why he brought Tim Ream to the World Cup, so we could switch fields. He loves to switch fields from left to the right wing. And how many times did Ream do that in the World Cup? Like a gazillion? So anyhow, that was my explanation to Colin. It's a Gregg thing. It's not a me thing. All right.
And ultimately, you're more likely to have right-footed left backs anyways because the number of people who are legitimately left-footed, left-handed are small.
Yes.
And the amount of those people who are excellent at a sport, smaller. And those who have picked soccer over every other sport, smaller.
It's kind of like that futon guy's dick. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's awfully mean, Derek. He has a different opinion than you. He doesn't believe that you watch Brooks play.
I don't mean it. I'm sure he has a very large phallus. All right. Although
for his significant other. Not even applying a gender there. I'm just saying he's probably assuming futon's a he, probably has a significant other of some form.
Well, the thing about it, when you post back at somebody who's got 20,000 people who are seeing it, and then lots of people that like it, and your only response is obviously does not watch John Brooks play. And then I said, who, me? I certainly have caught every game this season for Hoffenheim because I have. And I asked him, have you? Of course he hasn't. He hasn't watched a single fucking game that Brooks has played at Hoffenheim all season. So he's going to bring on his slow thing. Oh, he's slow.
It's a strawman argument, really. Because that's not a point you're even making.
No, I wasn't. Tim Ream's slow. Who fucking cares? That's not the fucking point. And then he's like, took you long enough. Like, I owe him some sort of response. Who the fuck are you, futon? I don't owe you fucking dick. You're lucky I fucking responded to you at all with that lazy fucking take. You're lucky I even responded because that's some lazy fucking garbage. All right? So I did. I blessed you with my fucking commentary, I guess, and that wasn't soon enough for you. Oh my goodness!
Don't lie. You're only claiming that Brooks needs to be included because he starts for a top level Bundesliga team at this point. You haven't watched him play at all. You just saw you're a scoreboard, armchair quarterback here.
I guess so. And I guess the only games this guy's watched is the last Honduras game that Brooks played. So there we go. Because, apparently he doesn't know that having jackal speed isn't really that important as a left center back. And, my point was John Brooks is, Tim Ream's slow too. And I love Tim Ream, just like I like John Brooks. So I don't get it. Anyhow, that's it.
I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those arguments where people are living in the past, and I'm not saying that Brooks magically changed any of his faults and his inability of certain aspects of the game to play. It certainly isn't going to get faster at this point.
No, he's not.
I don't care what he does. He might get he might shred a millisecond off of his 40, but.
What
it's not going to change his game, but I mean, he can still look at the game, read the game. He can still lace the ball forward.
Yes.
Will he get caught out of position or fuck up? Sure. Name me any player on the pitch that hasn't done that.
Tim Ream for at least 6 months didn't. But you know what? It didn't last forever, did it? And so far, John Brooks has been spectacular so far this season at Hoffenheim. And he's a leader on that team.
Correct
And
me if I'm wrong, though. Reem's Uzbekistan performance was not that great.
That's correct. That's one of the.
Clearly, Reems sucks. We can't include him anymore now.
He's already made mistakes with Fulham this season too. It's not like he's been blameless, but there was like that. I don't know. There was a game stretch for Fulham last season where Reem just couldn't make a mistake. Even the goals that were scored weren't his fault. So anyhow. Derek, you don't live on Twitter like the rest of us. I certainly do not, which is what I let this guy know. It's like, I'm not here very often, motherfucker. But if I am here, I don't know what you said that's so goddamn poignant that I need to respond to you. Who the fuck are you, Futon? Chaos Futon? Who the fuck are you?
It's not like you pulled some random quote tweet from like 3 months ago back. And we're trying to pull like a gotcha or anything.
It was like a week ago.
No, this was like 3 days ago.
Oh God, yeah. So he's expecting immediate gratification and response because he's so fucking incredibly smart and insightful. When he posted crap and he expects an immediate response from me. Man, go fucking jerk yourself.
Ultimately, the end result here is that there are some people out there that don't like Brooks. They don't rate him. They think his faults as a player outweigh his benefits, and that's perfectly fine to have your opinion.
If you have watched Hoffenheim play this season and you still believe that, then that's fine to me. But if you haven't watched Hoffenheim play any of the 4 games so far this season, then no, I'm holding you accountable. That's why I keep asking. Have you watched any of his games at Hoffenheim this season? I have watched all of them. Have you? Not a single one of these lazy fucks have bothered to tune in to watch the game to see if John Brooks has reclaimed his form, is still passing as good as he ever has the same kind of leader that he used to be for his old teams. He's back, baby. You can't just ignore that. You can't just ignore it.
And what people ultimately forget is that when he was with Wolfsburg, his final season, he was having a shit first half of the season. But that entire
and we called him out for it.
That entire second half of the season, highest marks almost every single fucking game. Almost every game. Highest marks, a couple Bundesliga player of the month or whatever. He was having a stellar second half. And then he had that spell at Benfica where he didn't get any playing time. And then he finally got to a club that was going to play him. It took him a second to get his feet settled. And towards the end of the season, he was starting to look much better. Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. And he'll make mistakes in the future. But you got to weigh those mistakes with the benefits that he does bring. And he was looking better and better and better. And I haven't watched any of his games this season. I really haven't. You talk about it. You have seen it. I'm going to take your opinion more so than my opinion of him as of last season and beyond.
And can I say this? If you had a 50-yard dash between Tim Ream and John Brooks is going to beat Tim Ream in the 50-yard dash. So this has nothing to do with him being slow.
By that much.
That's okay. He's still going to beat him, and I think he'd beat him by more than that.
I'm being
yeah, because his stride is so long. I'm just saying, listen, let's be honest. At least if we're going to have this discussion and you're going to be an asshole and say, oh, this guy obviously never seen John Brooks play. Like, that's a stupid thing to say. You don't know me. How do you know that? That's a dumb thing to say.
You don't know me?
You don't know me. I certainly don't know you. But now with that introductory statement by you, I think you're kind of a twat. And that's what I'm going to go with.
It's Twitter, so I'm not gonna apply much logic to this. But I mean, the two statements he does make to you doesn't actually indicate that he's applying any form of logic of Brooks being good or bad.
Right.
He's basically indicating that he doesn't rate Brooks that high, and then really focuses just on the speed, his ability to run up and down the pitch.
Right.
That's all he does. So. I mean, I'm not sure quite frankly, I knew you wanted to bring this up and everything like that, but I look at this as saying like, well, Futon just doesn't rate him. That's it.
Well, no, he's very specific in the reason he doesn't rate him, right?
I think he picks the easiest one.
You mean the laziest
fruit, the lowest
the laziest
fruit for when criticizing Brooks.
Say it.
Well,
the laziest.
He's slow.
That's the laziest thing to say.
Okay, come on, bro. Come on.
That's the laziest thing to pick out.
Yeah.
All right.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. That's what I said. It's the lowest hanging fruit. It really is.
Right.
Of course he's fucking slow.
But he's not
never been fast. That's
slow.
not his point.
But yeah, he's never been that slow. I watch slower center backs than Brooks all the time. All the time. In other leagues. In Germany, in France, in Italy. I mean, shit, some of the slowest center backs I've ever seen have played for AC Milan back in the days. And it didn't matter that they were slow. They just knew where to be. They were great leaders. They knew how to position themselves.
Tackles.
Yes.
Yeah. And then once they got the ball, they're able to lace it forward. Because when you're slow, you've got to make it up at other positions or other aspects of the game. Right. Especially if you're going to be playing at the top level of the game. You can't sit there and criticize a player who has an entire fucking career playing at the top flight of Germany.
No, not now. You could you could when he went to Benfica and rode high.
Well, sure.
You could at the beginning of the beginning of that Wolfsburg season where he was really bad. And then he fixed it by the end, but no one wanted to admit he had fixed it for whatever reason, at least no one on Gregg's staff. And it's just time, and we'll get to this later. For we just need to get it over with. Gregg just needs to be honest and get it over with. That's all. That's all. That's all I'm asking for.
Time is the only herb that heals all wounds. Unless your name is Brooks, and then fuck you, you can't come back.
Unless your name is Brooks, Dwayne Holmes. Listen, there are other players.
Well, I mean, and the problem with somebody like Dwayne Holmes is that you're talking about a midfield that's incredibly packed.
Okay, he's not playing
he has an
midfield
excuse
anymore.
There.
Dwayne Holmes is playing right winger.
Okay.
And he's leading the Preston North End team. I think he's second in scoring already. They are in first in the championship right now.
I absolutely loved the one window that Holmes was with the United States. I loved him in that window. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see more of him. And then all of a sudden we hear the rumors and the talks that there's this blowout between him and Berhalter. And we're like, So I'm probably more than most would love to see Holmes get another chance. But I'm just saying, Berhalter has an excuse here. If he doesn't like him, he can say, well, we got so many players that are playing top-level teams all around the world.
Right. Okay, but if you're calling up a bunch of players who play in the second division in Italy, and you continue to call Zendejas up, who is great with his club, but not with country, all right? There you go, Mike B. Dwayne Holmes is playing better than Zendejas right now. He is. Just go check out the random Preston North End games you can find on ESPN Plus, and just go watch them play. Go watch them play.
The big question is Liga MX better than the championship?
No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. The championship
it's questionable whether or not it's better than MLS at this point. But yeah, I just had a conversation on Twitter where they were talking about Paxton and his trajectory forward, and people were talking about like, well, I see a very, very near future where he's actually going to replace his brother Brennan in the roster.
Not if you watch today's game.
Well, and I go, well, I mean, if he's going to take over anybody's position, it's going to be players like Zendejas. And the only reason I bring this up is there are other players in the roster, 23-man plus, that Paxton could overtake before he even possibly considers overtaking Brendan.
Well, here's the real problem with Paxton. He played today. By the way, he was yanked at halftime. That's how bad it was. He might as well been a ghost for Frankfurt today.
Larry was talking about that. He said Chandler was on the bench. How well did Paxton play? I'm like, I have no fucking clue.
Well, because it's a meaningless bullshit tournament. All right. What was it? It's the Conference League. It's like the third division of
Derek, go on that rain again. Do it again.
It's the third division of meaningless fucking goddamn tournaments in Europe. And I'm glad there are people out there that get excited about it. The only reason I watched the games, frankly, was because Aronson played. All right. I knew Chandler wasn't playing. Chandler hasn't played for fucking half a year. All right. He ain't playing anymore. Unless somebody gets their fucking leg broken in half. Timmy Chandler is no longer going to be playing for On Track for Frankfurt. He has lost his spot a long time ago, and he ain't coming back. So if there are any Chandler people out there, just give up on it. It's over. Paxton Aronson was a ghost today. He was a ghost. And I'm sorry, his other problem is his natural position is more of like a center attacking midfielder or a second striker. And we don't play that under Gregg. So that's a strike against him already, even though you could say the same thing about Brendan, but Brendan's proven he can play out wide or he can play in the mid too. Whereas his younger brother seems to be more of a natural CAM. And by the way, he's a better shooter than Brendan Aronson is.
Well, that's not saying a lot. I mean, my 8-year-old son's a better shooter than Brendan.
Okay, well, that's pretty harsh, but yeah. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I really think Brendan needs to, after every practice, stay after and take like 100 shots from in and around the box. Anywhere. Just sit there and shoot the fucking ball. Learn how to shoot because that is one of his glaring weaknesses.
Well, he needs to have somebody like kick balls at him and have him shoot first time because that's his problem. If you just dribble it around and shoot, that's not going to help him at all because he's not bad on set pieces. He's actually a better set piece taker than fucking Christian Pulisic is.
Well, yeah, we've seen how well he does on the set pieces. Here we can. I don't need to listen to the whole thing. He just needs the Almighty on his side to spread that wall in half while he shoots on goal, and it's phenomenal.
Yep. No, I mean, but still, his corner kicks when he came on were better than Pulisic.
Fair, but that's not saying much. I think my 8-year-old son's better at taking corner kicks than Pulisic.
Right. No, I don't doubt it.
A trend here going on here.
Yeah. I wouldn't shock me. But can we go over some of the other players since we're done with the futon segment who played this week?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Hold on. Real quick. Mm-hmm. I want of an EV Twitter spree here. She's telling me after I'm done with this to make her food and bring her a drink.
Did she call you any names though?
Not yet. Hold on. This is a multi-layered text.
All right.
And she says, "Take a break and make me a blue cheese salad. I'm more important than those twats."
Well,
usually I'm the one that's being called a twat, but
I know
you 74 fuckers watching us right now, I'm just being called a twat by my wife. Now I'm turned on.
Oh boy. All right. I guess we better move forward with this.
Let's move up quickly. Let's go. Come on.
Get the show done.
Let's talk about the rest of the UEFA, Europas, and Champions League and the conference peoples.
You do realize, by the way, that this show is now on a Monday and Thursday, and that is Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football. That
was poor planning on our part.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. That could be bad. All right, anyhow, we'll think about it. It used to be hurt you had to worry about on Thursdays. Yeah. Now it's like more.
We got 74 people right now, and that's our lowest in a long time. So clearly we are getting hamstringed by the NFL.
Maybe we're just having bad shows in a row and nobody's still telling us.
Top 5 things Gregg could do to win back fans isn't going to draw people in? Come on.
Should, but they've probably heard them before. Yeah. All right, so Pulisic got 30 minutes versus Newcastle, and Musa got 20. I thought, Pulisic tried a few things during the game that were interesting. He looked aggressive on the one or two occasions that he actually had a chance to be. But it's impossible, and I just don't think it's worth. I think Lawless had a whole show called "What Pulisic's Benching Means." That was the title. I don't think that's what they actually talked about. Basically, he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get benched, but if he does, it's on him." And I'd agree with him on that. If he gets benched, it is on him. He needs to go out there and produce, and I think at the beginning of the season he did. And I also think he's going to be, on occasion, given a rest. And that shouldn't be surprising to anybody. Fine. Yeah.
And if they were smart at AC Milan with all the competitions they're going to be a part of, they should be rotating their offensive players like that. So it literally should be there's at least three big opportunities. They should all be rotating around.
Right. No, and they're going to be.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't You can't play a guy game after game after game after game. Midweek, then week, then midweek, then weekend.
Yeah.
Also, we already talked about Holmes. He played right forward or right wing, whatever you want to call it, for Preston North End today. And of course, they won, and they are in first. Charlie Kelman, a long forgot about player, still a young player.
You see him popping up every now and then.
Yeah, he got 20 minutes for QPR today at center forward.
How old is he?
Got to be 22.
What's his name? Sorry, what's the whole name again?
Charlie Kelman, Kelman. He's got to be 22. We started covering him years ago.
21. You're pretty damn close there, Derek.
Right.
It's not bad. It's not bad for a 21-year-old.
No. I mean, he's got loans. So we'll see. He started off at Reading. Was it Reading? I can't remember. Anyhow, Dest went 90. And God, am I being dissolute? Am I being nuts here in saying that Dest was the best player on the field for the game, for the team? Because I thought he was. I thought he had some magical moments in this game, Dest.
Well, I didn't watch a match, but I certainly saw the Twitters, and they certainly highlighted his poor defensive responsibilities.
Oh, come on.
Right here says, I thought Dest was poor defensively.
I mean, he had, but look what he was playing against. Of course, he's going to have some faults, but I thought generally he played really well, and he did shut down numbers of times when someone ran at him one-on-one.
He followed up saying going forward he was good.
No, I agree with that. That for sure. And I was willing to accept that Dest was going to take some damage on the defense versus Saka. So I knew that was going to be a battle and a challenge for him, but I thought generally he held up pretty well.
Along with you and the two chats I pulled up here, it sounds like that's a common theme with some people. Mike B says he was absolutely the best. Yes, he is partially responsible for that first goal, although his right back partner played him onside.
That's correct.
So, I guess everybody on Twitter was really just harping on the defensive woes instead of focusing on the whole match. I don't know. I'm not going to say one way or the other because I didn't watch the match, and that would be irresponsible of me.
I get it, but there were two times Saka went one-on-one with Dest, and Dest totally stumped him. Stole the ball from him. So it's not like he was horrible. He had some great moments, too. I haven't looked at his stats, but I was paying attention to that potential one-on-one, and I thought he looked good. Tillman got 34. Game was kind of over. Pepe, why on fucking earth is he getting 5? Why is he getting 5 minutes? The game was over.
Dude, this is the same argument we had earlier in the season, and I know we're early in the season regardless, but when PSV were up 4-1 in a match, and Pepe doesn't come on to the 91st minute, you're sitting there going the game was over 20 minutes ago. Why not bring him on at that point? It's clearly not an offensive issue there. And just like this match, they're down 4-0. It's clearly not an offensive issue.
Bring Pepe on when you brought Tillman on. Give him 30 fucking minutes to play a goddamn game. The game was over.
Yeah.
And De Jong wasn't going to make any goddamn difference in that game. Bring on somebody else.
At best. Justin Stern says, when will Dest become a winger?
Or a midfielder. I don't know. It's probably not going to happen.
I say we bring Weah on USMNT national. We bring Weah back to right back, and we push Dest up to right wing.
No, let's not do that. No.
I want Weah close to that goal, man. I want him to rip those shots.
Yeah, I mean, Weah's defense is much more suspect at this point so far this season than Dest's is. Weah's gotten burned way more than Dest has this season.
It's not going to happen. I mean, there's no benefit replacing Dest and Weah with the Nats at this point.
Right.
There's no benefit, none whatsoever.
Brendan Aronson came in for 24 for Union Berlin in the loss, that last-minute loss, and
I heard he was good in those couple minutes.
He did his usual thing, pressing Merchant. Had a couple moments where he sparked a counter. but didn't.
But when you're talking about 0-0 against Real Madrid, I mean, in the final 20 minutes, and Real Madrid gets a goal like in the 90,
extra time.
What was it?
Yeah, extra time.
Yeah, I mean, people were. I mean, as far as I saw, again, people were praising that Brandon looked okay, pretty good. Looked pretty good in that sense.
I thought he was fine.
He looked pretty good.
I thought he was what I expected from him. He didn't blow my balls off, though. I'm just waiting for him to do something spectacular because that's what he misses. He's missing as a player the spectacular. He had that spectacular moment versus Chelsea, and he started off the season with Leeds, and you thought, oh, there's more of this to come.
You mean
there wasn't any of it to come.
You mean the high press where he ended up blocking the goalkeeper and scoring a goal?
Yes.
Okay. That was definitely spectacular.
I'm not asking for the same thing.
I'm just saying maybe Brendan is not that type of a player. Maybe he is a player that's going to beat a player or two in the midfield and then pass it forward and move on. He's not going to be that spectacular wonder kid, you know?
I'm not asking for a wonder kid. I'm asking for a handful of good play and spectacular moments throughout a season. 5, 4. Give me 3 spectacular moments in a season. That's all I'm looking for, Brett.
I'm sure he'll hit that.
I'm not asking for it every game. I'm
sure he'll hit that with a team that's not called Leeds that's going to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
And I know, but I'm not even saying it needs to be spectacular. What I need him to do is make a significant difference every once in a blue moon. Like he was the guy who stole the ball, drove it down the field, and made the perfect cross that somebody else put in the goal.
I'm gonna come to his defense in this case. Given we have a very limited number of games to go off of Union Berlin's performances,
he's not going to start for this team.
But his time with Leeds, he had those moments. Now he was marred by his getting knocked around the pitch like a rag doll.
Yes.
But there were definitely times where he would get the ball, he would move it up the pitch, beat a couple players, and then he was the player on the team that created the second most opportunities for that team.
Nobody finished. I get it.
Bamford. Nothing finished. He could have had multiple assists in that season. I'm not saying that he would have. But he could have had multiple assists, and then all of a sudden, our eyes would have been like, or our opinions of him would have been completely different. We'd be like, oh my goodness, he actually did some decent plays here.
That's fair. Fair.
But again, it's marred by the negatives. The fact that a soft breeze would knock him over. Yep. Now, I'll say, the limited time I've seen him at Union Berlin, he's looked like he's manned up a little bit.
Yeah, he's not toppling over there.
He's taking hits, he's giving them back, but he still is 90 pounds wet. So, I mean, you're still going to get knocked around, but he's not flopping around like some sad sack.
Right. So, it's better, but I don't think he's going to start much this season, but he will get playing time.
Right? If he comes in off the bench and he performs well, that's fine.
So Gooch is back, but with Stoke now, and he went 90 for a top high.
Yeah, I saw somebody post that. I'm like, wait a second, I thought it was with Sunderland, and I looked. I'm like, oh, he just got transferred. Okay, well, that's news to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's too bad because it seemed like as the captain of Sunderland, he would stay there.
He spent like 10 years with that team.
I mean, he's been there.
It's not quite 10 years, but you know what I'm getting at. Right. He's been there for a long fucking time.
Yeah. So they just found somebody better, apparently.
But that's a weird thing, though, because this is a guy who was with you at the Premiership, went all the way down to League One, and then came back up with you to the Championship. Now it's possible maybe Stoke offered
it's contract,
and they're like, "Hey, yeah, we'll take that shit any day of the week."
Right.
We got to look. Maybe they did get something better, but I mean, this is the guy that stuck with you through the shitty moments of your club's career.
Stoke offered more. Bottom line.
Yeah. But hey, wherever.
Yeah. No DK, by the way. Still no Sargent, obviously for obvious reasons. But DK.
DK.
He's backing into the bushes and gone somewhere because nobody
Is he
knows.
recovered yet? Is he still injured?
We don't even know what his status is at this point. But it's been forever, Brett. It's been forever since he played, and been healthy.
Yeah.
So it's sad. Hey, Bello got 2 minutes versus Liverpool today.
Hey, he was happy. He was happy to make his Europa debut. He said
His Europa Conference League debut versus Liverpool.
Is Liverpool really in the Europa Conference League?
I don't know which one of the two.
I assume since he was playing Europa, I assumed that he was actually in Europa and wasn't.
I have no idea which meaningless tournament he's in, but he's in one of the two.
Either way, no chance with the national team. We'll just put it that way.
Right, he's gone. He can't even start for Lask. He can't start for Lask.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
EPB in the 18, but did not play in Panathinaikos' win versus Villarreal, which was a surprise. DK's so injured, Gio feels bad for him. Yeah, I know. But EPB did that interview, by the way, which I recommend you watching.
I need to. I saw that. I'm like, ooh, I need to sit down and watch this.
Yeah, it's the first one's really good. The second one, I was hoping they dig deeper into the more Berhalter stuff and the way the U.S. men's national team setup works, and it wasn't as spicy as I thought. I was hoping for spiciness, more spiciness.
Yeah. Well, he's young enough to where he still has a hopeful career. He doesn't want to get super spicy. Chris Gary says Liverpool's in Europa. So they're playing. Bello has just logged in some Europa minutes.
So Liverpool's in Europa. Is that a part of my intestine? Because it doesn't, Chris. I'll be fair to you. I mean, if you enjoy watching, that's cool. That's fine. Anybody who enjoys watching that is cool to me. But let's just face it. It's a meaningless bullshit tournament. Both of them are. It doesn't matter to me. Europa, Conference League is absolutely useless. I don't even know why it exists. So if they can fuck over the players and run them more, because I can't seriously see how anybody would care about being in the third tier of the fucking, Europa League tournaments. What's the fucking point of that?
Extra minutes, extra playing time, I guess. I don't know. Jumping back to Tack's interview with EVB, I noticed on Twitter that he was getting a lot of flack saying like, "Oh, great, you're interviewing somebody who's like 8th tier for the national team." I'm like,
8th tier?
I was just sitting there going like, "Wait a second, this is a guy who's been in contention. He was playing for Troyes last season in
Ligue 1.
And he was being called into the national team. I mean, this is a pretty big get for Tact.
I think so.
That's a hell of an interview to be brought in. For considering he's an independent content creator. He's not associated with any major whatever publication or whatever. Fuck, he's not ESPN. He's not ABC. He's not any of that shit. He's by himself, and he managed to get somebody who's a potential candidate for a center back position currently.
Yeah, I mean, you're making it sound like it's difficult for him. He knows so many of those guys.
Sure, fair enough. He knows people, but that's still big for an independent content creator.
No, it is big. I mean, it's just...
but people were shitting on it, and I'm just sitting there going like, "What? Why, guys?
I don't know.
Why? I don't know. I don't understand it.
I guess people like to serve shit sandwiches. That's why they're on Twitter. Whatever. You do you.
Yeah.
Aston Villa, by the way, lost to Legia Warsaw. That's hilarious. They lost to a Polish team 3-2. But then AZ took one right in the asshole today, too. They lost to Zrinski, a Croatian team. Took it right in the asshole. Hard. I mean, they lost 4-3. And by the way, you would think, okay, this is a meaningless tournament. Shouldn't Mihailovic get some minutes? No. He rode Pine for 18. By the way, he played himself off of that team. He pussied out. He played like a little pussy. I hate saying that, but he didn't play with the conviction he used to play when he was at Montreal. He didn't play with that conviction. Just watch any of the games he played last season. There's no conviction there. There is no thought of, I'm going to fucking boss this shit. No, He's like, I'm going to be one of the timid players on this team that doesn't want to make mistakes, and I'm going to make the easy pass. Did he have a couple?
Yeah.
Do you have a couple good games? Sure, but not on the norm. And that's why he's now a fucking bench player. Gustavo Sandoval, laughing out loud. As a Liverpool fan, I can tell you I'm a bit ashamed that Liverpool has actually won the Europa League before. Well, yeah, I mean, if you win it, that's fine. But, like, what do you get? I think you get a potato if you win that.
John here says you're wrong, Derek.
About what?
The team was Bosnian.
Oh, fuck. Did I say Croatian?
I think I
say Croat. No. The team that what was the name that Aze lost to is called Zrinski. I might have said they were from. I might have said they were from Croatia. I can't even remember what I said at this point. Sorry,
regardless.
John. Thank you for fixing it.
Yeah, this is a great thing about the chat, guys, is that you guys are here live helping us out.
I'd never heard of the team before this, so I was just guessing, pissing in the wind on where they were from. I thought they were from Croatia, though. I'm surprised I don't know that.
Derek, do you even soccer? Do you not know that? Come on.
I mean, I don't
You're
follow.
a fake soccer fan.
I don't follow any of the teams in those Eastern European countries at all. None. Mackenzie got 90 and the tie goal versus Fiorentina today for Genk.
Oh.
Yes. So count him back on the active list. We already talked about Paxton Aronson, but I do have to bring up the fact that game versus Aberdeen that Frankfurt played and they won 2-1. But the one goal and the one great moment they had with Aberdeen was Mr. Polvara, who is an American who plays for Aberdeen, scored that one goal for Aberdeen. So, hey, a couple Americans on the field that day, on the pitch tonight. By the way, I want to bring up that Robin Koch has played with both Aronson brothers now.
Yeah. No, I mentioned that when we brought him up that he got the loan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he knows both Aronson brothers now. And he's probably like, they play almost so similar, like the way their body moves.
They actually called Paxton Brendan. It's weird.
The way that their bodies move, the way they kind of redirect, everything about the way they move is so similar. Like, I'm glad if they ever play together on the national team, it shouldn't say Aronson on the back. They should put Paxton and Brendan on it, because otherwise I won't know the fucking difference watching them play. They look so similar.
They even have similar haircuts.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you guys have to start changing something up, man.
Well,
you guys are fucking twins, man. It's like shit. Or John? No, Jake. Sorry, my bad.
Right. So at least they play on different teams. And by the way, Ferreira scored 2 goals last night. All right. Just got to bring it up. And maybe that's why his rating is so high on FIFA.
He keeps scoring against these teams. It's crazy.
2 goals. Areola got a goal too. And by the way, Paxton limping off the field. Pomacall got an assist. Paxton, I'm the slowest center midfielder ever.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about MLS. I'm gonna bring up Chicago here, Derek. Chicago has lost 5 out of their last 6 games.
They're so bad.
They're still 3 points off of playoff contention.
How's that Swiss guy?
And somebody's like, man, they're just a Chicago fan was like, man, there's the fact that the Chicago's lost 5 of the last 6 games, and only 3 out of playoff, indicates that they're just allowing too many teams in the playoffs. I'm like, quiet. I don't. Don might be listening to you. I want to make the playoffs.
Did you watch any of those games?
Yeah.
Does your Swiss, the magical Swiss guy play? You know, the guy that's like a hobbit. He's like 5'3".
He certainly played, Derek.
Why do I forget that guy's name?
Shaqiri,
thank you.
He certainly didn't play for $6.5 million or whatever the fuck he's making.
Is he playing though? Is he a starter?
He's playing, yeah.
Okay.
Him and Guti are both playing, and it's not a good option. I think one or the other needs to play in that. Quite frankly, I think Guti needs to play, and then Shaqiri needs to get shipped home.
Can't Shaqiri play out wide?
That's a problem. Shaqiri has like 90 minutes of like performance, but then he has like 2 or 3 plays throughout the entire game down like they're so phenomenal that they could have resulted in goals, but they didn't. But it's like, oh, if only they would have just put that away, you know. But
I hear you. I hear you.
It's frustrating.
All right, I think we're on to our main topic.
BMR says the Paxton guy looks really familiar. Says Robin Koch, 2023, probably.
I like the way he spelled his name like it's like cock. There is an H on the end of that BMR, but hey, it works for us.
We're not ready for the main topic, actually, Dick. I have other soccer topics to bring. We just managed to go off on the Europa and Champions League topic.
Did you just call me Dick?
Derek?
Okay, you just said Derek really fast. Sounded like Dick. You're like, we got other topics, Dick.
Dick? All right. So we have a notification here from NWSL.
Okay.
So NWSL has fined Alex Morgan for some comments she had made.
Detrimental to the league, made on social media on September 17th in violation of Section 12.5E. Was this put out by fucking Michael Cameraman? Prejudicial statements and public criticism of the league operations manual. Oh, God. You got to be kidding me.
Well, Jenna does write about NWSL, so she'll know more than I will. But
okay.
So that's what NWSL said. They basically fined Morgan $500.
$500. That's one less big ass goddamn fancy restaurant meal.
NWSL
you
has
can't
to
have
that Signlight official apparently.
God, what's that going to get them? A bag full of balls?
For $500, what do you think Alex said?
Maybe the league, the quality, or what's she saying? We're not getting paid enough. No. That would be.
That's pretty much detrimental to the league, right?
Well, not being paid enough. No, she won't say that because they're not going to find her for that. So she must have said something about the quality of the league itself.
Not terribly far off. You're right along the lines. This she posted a post that has to do with a certain play that happened against her. We'll watch the video in a little bit, but I want to bring up the comment here.
Okay.
So here's what she said.
In what world is this not a penalty and red card or even foul? Completely reckless, and the leg going in for the tackle doesn't even get a ball when I cut her. Ooh, she cut her. Just glad I saw her coming and didn't plant on that leg, or I'd 100% not be walking today. All right, let's see this. I haven't seen it.
But, I mean, is that detrimental to the league?
What about
that post means that she needs to be fined $500?
Dude, I mean, listen. We're in a world where you can be accused of things that you did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that you've never have been prosecuted for, or no one's ever charged you with anything. And you'll lose all your social media accounts except for a couple. So that's the world we live in.
Very
and
specific, Derek.
This is also a fucking world we live in, right?
Yeah. So listen, she comes out and she says, hey, I feel like this was a dirty play.
Right.
And no call was made. Fortunately, I saw it coming a mile away and I didn't plant, and I'm still alive. And NWSL is sitting here going like, we've got to fine her for this.
This is too much big daddyism. This is too much daddy in the sky.
She spoke badly about us. We gotta do it.
First of all, NWSL, not a whole lot of people watch this. Okay, so if you ignore this, it's gonna just disappear. This isn't detrimental anyhow. It's about a fucking personal situation in a personal game. I get it. 7 million. I get it.
She got more views on this one tweet than NWSL gets all year long for all their clubs.
It's just her fucking opinion. Why is she not allowed to have she didn't say that the ref should be fined or he should be let go.
Yeah.
She didn't say the league sucks. She just disagreed with this one fucking call. She only got fined pennies in her couch. So I guess it's not a big deal. But all right, let's play it.
Well, let me I don't know if there's any audio here goes along with it, but since we're not monetizing, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Morgan takes that touch threatening to goal.
Yeah, that's reckless.
That's a lot of Alex Morgan. Not sure.
That's reckless. I'm sorry. That's a reckless challenge.
Ball soccer gets a lot of Alex Morgan. Not sure.
So
In what league is that not a foul?
hold on. See if we
Morgan
can
takes that touch threatening
She comes in.
to
Okay, I don't care if she gets the ball. That's reckless shit. She knows she's gonna take out the player too, and we all know what the rules are now. You can get the ball, you can't take out the player taking the ball, getting the ball.
This is basically what because somebody's like, man, what world is this not a dirty foul? And Winalda said not dirty, but nasty.
Yes.
So she came in, she got the ball. Was it a nasty tackle? Absolutely. Was it a foul?
Yes.
I mean, I would have blown the whistle personally. I would have blown the whistle. But I don't know. I mean,
are we saying this was not called at all? There's
no foul, no yellow, no red, no.
Oh well, that's
nothing.
absurd. I'm all with. Listen, I'm not all with Alex Morgan on a whole lot of things, but I'm with her on this call. This is shit. That's a bad call. That's a fucking foul. I don't care. You can get the ball, but you're not allowed to fucking just totally undercut and basically take out a player. It's totally reckless.
Says it's reckless. It's not dirty.
It is reckless as shit. Yes. That's leg breaking shit.
Jackie
right
D
there.
says it's a good tackle.
Well, he must be a center back. Jackie D's a center back. That's what we know now.
So I mean, I don't know who the defender is. She went in on the tackle. She got all ball in this situation, but yes, she did follow through. Took out Morgan.
Just murdered her.
There's no declining that, and at that point, it is all subjective to the ref because she literally took the player. Now, and I agree with Morgan. If Morgan had planted her foot,
oh yeah,
she would have been fucked.
Oh
royally
absolutely broken. Like her left foot right now. The fact that it's
Jackie was just joking.
Okay, like the left foot, if it's not up that 4 inches off the ground that it is right now, and it gets trapped in that chick's cunt and gets stuck in it, it's gonna get twisted and broken in her fucking twat. I swear to God.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Again, it was. And I kind of agree with what Nald in the situation that it wasn't. It was nasty. It wasn't dirty.
I tell you what, that tackle would never happen with men.
I would have called the foul and I would have given the PK in this situation.
You want to know why it wouldn't happen with a man? Because look at where that foot is. You're risking your nuts.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You're risking your own nuts making a tackle like that, that recklessly on somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in a situation where this tackle happened. She got taken out completely, and what does she do? I mean, she goes down. I don't know how hurt she was. Again, she avoided a lot of that tackle. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it hurt still, but she went on to Twitter and she said, "In what world is this not a red card and a PK?"
Or at least a PK. At least a PK.
Yeah, that's all she says. And NWSL comes out and fines her $500.
Right. Well,
she also got 7 million views on that clip. Not even that clip. Just her tweet or X, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's $500 well spent for the amount of views and amount of people looking at her comments. You know,
you know what I do? I tell them go fuck their $500.
Yeah,
take me to fucking court and make me pay it.
I would. You know what I do? What I do is I'd go to the bank and I'd get $500 in pennies, and I would take them over to NWSL and just pour it onto a desk.
That's another option. That's another option. Or you put all those pennies in a giant jar and urinate in it, and then cap it, then mail it to them in a box. Pennies and urine.
How heavy would that be? And man,
yeah,
how much money would you spend on shipping?
It would be heavy, and I would definitely have enough piss in it, so it'd take weeks to get it completely filled to the top with all those pennies. But it'd be worth it.
I mean, you'd have to do like a video that you post on YouTube or other social media to try to offset the amount of money that would cost just to ship it. And start building your online persona at that point.
I mean, you could go more lightweight and just put all the pennies in a giant goddamn container and then take a fucking large dump over the top of it, seal it up, and mail it off to them, you know?
Yeah.
And then you probably get fined another fucking $500 for doing it. But you know what? That's just bullshit. I'm sorry. This league must be as sensitive as
What it is so stupid that she got fined for that. That was the
it's
dumbest thing in the world.
ridiculous.
Because it's not like she's saying like, oh, the referees are horrible in this league. I can't wait to get the fuck out of here once my contract expires, and I'm going to go to a real league. Now that'd be different.
I mean, she's kind of saying the ref is a moron by saying, "How do you miss this?" But not directly. It's sort of an indirect way of saying it. It's not like she called him names. She just questioned the call. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't understand any league that's super sensitive. Although I guess, if you question refs in any way and any decision they make,
happens in MLS all the time. You mentioned
it does.
After a poor match, and all of a sudden, bam, you're fined.
Yep.
Except for you're talking about like tens of thousands of dollars for coaches for saying shit.
There was one player who's like, I'm not going to make any comments because I know I'm going to get fined. And that was enough to get him fined. So there you go. All right. What else we got here? McKenny suffered a blow to his knee. Well, she was totally in the wrong area then.
Well. You don't know that, Derek.
Oh, yeah. He's really into his knees being blown.
No, I'm just saying maybe he's well hung. You know.
Oh, okay. I don't even think 29 can clear that up for us. All right. McKenny suffered a blow to his knee and was put in a brace with ice. Okay.
That was during a practice, and apparently Rabiot and Alexandro all got injured.
What are they doing there? What the fuck are they? What are they killing each other? Well, that's just going to mean Weah gets more playing time. Weah's going to start out at right wing back instead of McKenny. But as soon as McKenny's healthy, he will be back as the starter at right wing back instead of McKenny.
He'll be back and ready for the October window.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're doing at practice there. This many guys should not get hurt in one practice. So
it was a brutal practice, man.
I think they were playing rugby or something. What the fuck? All right.
Speaking of injuries, we have another injury and surgery apparently.
Defender Jalen Neal underwent sports hernia surgery today. Safe to assume Neal is out for the rest of the regular season. I would say so.
His mom's in there going, hopefully he'll be back for playoffs.
I don't think so. I will tell you, there's nothing more complicated than fucking a sports hernia. It's just unfucking predictable. Like how many times when Adams had it at Leipzig, he was like, I'm coming back. And then they're like, guess not. He went out for practice, started feeling funny. And this happens with all kinds of players with these sports hernias. Like you just don't know when it's really, really ready to go. And the doctors don't either. So, I mean, this could take 6 months. It could take 8 months. It could take 8 weeks. You just don't know. You just don't. It's one of those weird ass injuries that is unpredictable in its healing process.
All right. So Derek, you sent me some slides earlier today for the main topic.
Yeah.
And it's not 5 things, guys. We apparently have 6 things.
Yeah, it's 6.
You know how I spent like a couple minutes before the show started organizing the photos, the slides, and you're like, oh, I want to go this direction instead. You know that the name of the slide for the 6th point is 001Gregg.png.
Yes.
Or JPEG. So you said it was the first slide, but it's the 6th point. You know you're counting down. I understand your logic now. But this is where things got fucked.
I know. And I was thinking about it too when I was creating. I'm like, okay, I'm going from 6 to 1, and that's going to really probably confuse Brett. But, we'll work it out. That's what I said to myself. We'll work it out.
001Gregg.jpg.
Yes.
And it's the 6th point.
It is the 6th point. Yes.
Okay. Well, we're on the same boat here. We figured it out.
Yes, we
Got
did.
everything set up for this. So, top 6 things Gregg could do to win fans back and right the ship.
Exactly. Yes, that's it. So let's
I
start
want everybody to know that this is our opinions. These aren't facts, although we think they're facts.
Facts.
I think if Gregg does a couple of these things, I think it's guaranteed that he'll win some people over.
I think so.
I think there's a number of the fan base. So the fan base itself is split between Pro-Gregg and Anti-Gregg.
Split?
And split.
I think this split is heavy on one side of no thank you for Gregg, please.
Do what?
I think most people didn't want Gregg back.
Sure, but there's still a split. I'm not saying equally split.
70-30?
I'm just saying that there's two sides to this argument. And even if you're a casual fan, like you talk about your brother and I talk about some of my friends, even they, without knowing all the details of the politics behind U.S. soccer and everything, they still will fall one way or the other without knowing it.
I don't think so. My brother has no opinion on Gregg Berhalter outside of what I've told him. And my parents don't like Gregg Berhalter based on what I've told him. My brother's kind of
you're out there persuading the common folk, huh?
Well, listen, if Gregg did good things, I'd tell them good things about Gregg.
It's fair. Yeah, a couple of my friends and my brother all recognize Berhalter and his failures, like things. Because there's a number of times where I'm talking to my friend Chad. He's been on the he's not been on the show, but he's been in the chat a number of times. He still listens to our show, and we'll sit there. We'll be watching a game, and this is last cycle, and he's just sitting there going like, maybe we don't play with a 9, maybe we don't play with an actual striker because we can't get anything out of our fucking strikers. And this is a guy who doesn't follow all the intricate details of U.S. soccer politics.
Right? No, I get the same text from my mom, from my brother. Why does this team look like so bad all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I get it. And they're like, we're just not that good anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Without knowing which way they would be leaning in this situation, they tend to lean one way or the other.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's split between the fan base is split between one or the other. But I think there's a portion of the fan base that's willing to give it another go because it's a new cycle and there's new hope.
There's two differences on that.
Slim, very slim.
So the people who are willing to give it another go are, number one, the uninformed, and that's fine. They don't know any better, so what the fuck do they care? Mm-hmm. Number two, the supposedly informed fan, supporter who's just pro-Gregg. Listen, they're out there. There aren't a whole lot of them out there, but they're out there. They exist. These are all the people who didn't boo when Berhalter came out for the last game. All right. And those people didn't boo because they're like, why are people booing? And then the other people were like, fuck those guys for booing. Those fucking traitors.
They're booing our national.
They don't understand his brilliance. How smart Gregg is a fucking genius. Yeah,
he got us out of the group stage.
I mean, the number of people who are out there that think Gregg is a genius must have reduced to much, just like, the crumbs that come off the toilet paper in your fucking asshole when you're done wiping your ass. That's what we're down to. It's just those little crumbs. That's it.
Toilet paper, yeah.
The cheap toilet paper you get at a public park or something. And, that's what we're looking at right now, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're a sane person and you're a true fan of this team, you have seen the evidence. You must have at least at some point looked in the mirror and gone, yeah, I liked watching Hudson's games better. Oh man, that whole
I enjoyed those handful of games much more than entire last cycle.
I'm way for BJ's before I am for
who isn't for BJ's, by the way.
Exactly. So I mean, if you're being honest at this point, I mean, if you're still a massive groin cuddler of Berhalter at this point, you've just not been paying attention, or you are stuck in something. Because there is something I would like more than to support the manager of my team. I would like to do that. I would like to be positive about where we are headed and where we are going. But I'm not. because I have too much evidence. I've seen too many things. But there are 6 things that Gregg could do to change my mind and change other people's minds and right the ship on this fucking team.
So what you're saying, Derek, is you knew where you came from. Sorry, I fucked that up completely. You knew where you come from. You know where you go, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah, something like that.
I was sitting there working out in my head, and then once it was my time to talk, and I'm like, all right.
Bourbon.
It wasn't even that. It was just like trying to get the verbiage proper, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that Royal.
All right, let's start with number 6. Drum roll, please.
Yeah, it is false advertising. But it's good false advertising because we're giving you more.
It's a bonus.
More.
That's like when you show up at the whorehouse and instead of getting just, 1, you get 2. There you go.
Larry has one here. It says, start Zimmerman and Derek will explode with excitement.
Larry, I don't know what you know about me, but I certainly don't explode over fucking Walker Zimmerman.
Derek strokes it to the man buttons, is what Larry's saying.
Jesus Christ. Larry, you've taken it too far, my friend. Anyhow, don't hold grudges would be my first one that I left out on my original 5. Why did I leave it out, Brett? Because it wouldn't fit.
That's what he said.
That's right. I had 6, but it wouldn't fit. And you said, that's what she said. And I said, yeah, the hole was too small. But anyhow, 6 isn't that large. So that it should usually fit, Brett. Usually 6. But 6. Don't hold grudges. Let's get over it, Gregg. Be a fucking grown-up.
Yep. And the funny thing is that there aren't too many grudges that he actually has that are contenders moving forward. We talked about Dwayne Holmes earlier.
Yep.
He's doing well enough in championship, and we're talking about Sargent being brought in all the time. So, I mean, we can't sit there and say, like, well, he's doing well in the championship and not use him as an option, right?
Yeah. Well, what's the other grudge? It's Brooks, Holmes. Do we have any other that we're leaving out?
I think it's the 2 big ones, really.
It is because
he has other grudges, yes, but
Miazga was a big grudge.
Yeah, it was a big grudge, but I feel like he's got other options. They can say, we got other options.
Well, BJ called up Miazga, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean Gregg doesn't still hold a grudge. And there were all the reports is that Hudson was going to call up Brooks too. So I don't think he has a grudge against Green, Larry. I think he just doesn't give a fuck. Like he doesn't acknowledge his existence.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of different. It's like, okay, Greuther Firth, fuck that team. But then he goes over and says, Venezia. Let's do that. Let's do that. But we're going to ignore Greuther Firth. You know,
we brought up, what was it, Moore that was in the 2nd division? Or was it Cannon?
No, Shaquille Moore was in the 2nd division. Segunda.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We still brought him up too.
Right.
We called up the players from every other 2nd division of the top 5 except for Bundesliga.
And Shaquille Moore wasn't even starting at the time.
Yeah.
For that Segunda team. So, and now he comes to MLS, I guess, Anyhow, yeah, he holds grudges. That's no different than Klinsmann. Klinsmann held grudges too. Klinsmann certainly held grudges against Boca Negra. It's not documented like fully because no one's going to talk about it. But yet Donovan, the way he treated Boca Negra, Klinsmann, when he announced that not only was he not starting, but he was no longer the captain in front of the whole team, he didn't even talk to Boca Negra. Boca Negra was like, what the fuck's happening?
Just got kneecapped, man. What the fuck?
In front of the whole team, he got kneecapped. That's not how you do that. All right. But he held grudges too because Boca Negra was one of the people suspected of giving all the quotes for that article that was written right before the Costa Rica game, the snow game, right? You remember the snow game?
I do remember the snow game.
But an article came out right before that detailing all the doubts and thoughts of current U.S. men's national team players. And Klinsmann was able to somehow figure out that one of the quotes had come from Boca Negra. He was gone. He was gone after that. He never played again. Donovan, they had some personal issues with one another, some personal spats. and the fact that Klinsmann stuck his neck out and brought Donovan to Bayern, and that turned out to be a failure that Klinsmann was ridiculed about in the German press. So we never really forgave Donovan for that either. And then he expected at least some modicum of like compliance from Donovan once he came and was the coach. But Donovan was one of the team leaders that players respected and looked up to instead of him that he did not like. And then he had a problem with Donovan's commitment. Apparently having mental health issues isn't something you're allowed to have back then. So anyhow,
man up, Donovan. That's what Klinsmann basically said.
Basically, Spencer Doherty for 869. Bass GG bullshit. I got homework, but it's not as tedious as Gregg's system. Gregg won't grow up, and I want a medium rare steak. Yeah, I get your brother.
Ooh, that sounds delicious right now. Medium rare steak.
Oh, it does, except for, God, we're still on the hunt for good steaks, Brett. My dad had another bad one a couple weekends ago. He went out, and I told him, go to the butcher to get your steak next time. Go to a real meat place where that's their only focus. Don't go to Kroger. Don't go to Myers. Just go to like a top of the line, that place in Carmel, for instance. That's all they do is meat, right?
Next time I'm up in Michigan, I'm gonna have to go back to Lowry's. I'm gonna have to get some good steak there, man. Last time I got steak there, I had some bacon wrapped fillets. Oh, so good.
Yeah, fillets are more forgiving, though. We're talking about like a porterhouse or a more top of the line slice of meat. So far, my dad's failing routinely.
So in Fisher's no longer there. I know this is only going to affect one or two people in the chat, maybe at most. There used to be a place called Archer's right there on 116th by Chat Tap.
Yeah,
and they had some really good. We got porterhouses there, man, one day, and they were fucking phenomenal. But they're no longer in existence, and they.
But there are other places though.
Being a butcher shop in a high cost area, Fisher's, Carmel, and stuff like that, just means that the cost of the meat is going to be higher.
It is, but
going to like a butcher shop like up in Michigan when you're out in the fucking boonies, you get the shit dirt cheap, and it is so fucking good.
Well, that's one big bonus of that for sure. But my dad and I have actually gone out and gone to several grocery stores looking for good steaks. We found really great marbled steaks. We're like, this looks really good. They're still expensive, but we brought them home. We cooked them perfect. They were nice and pink in the shit. Absolute shit. My dad's really great on a grill. So they've been either tough or what anyhow. All right. So number 5. Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Thanks, Spencer, for that. Jumping back to the don't hold grudges. Just going to hit a couple players that Larry's brought up because he's posting a bunch. We talked briefly. I don't think we talked about Cannon. I think he's going to be a Berhalter grudge this cycle. I think he's toast at this point.
Mm-hmm. He's toast for more than one reason, though, because he can't find a team to play for.
I thought he was really close to signing with somebody just recently.
I have not heard any news on that.
Hasn't been official, but he's free. He shouldn't have any problem signing with anybody at this point.
Doesn't matter. A lot of people see him as a head case.
BMR says Hoppy, and I think they
made up
with that. But I think Hoppy's not included ever because, doesn't play.
He doesn't play for San Jose either. So there you go.
Anybody for that matter.
I mean, he gets a few minutes, scraps.
Tyler Boyd, I think it's one of those situations.
No, Terrence.
I would probably think he's talking about Tyler.
Nah.
No. You're right. I'm having backwards. You're right. Terrence. It is Terrence, not Tyler.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Kaiserslautern. But I will say this: Terrence Boyd lost the starting spot at Kaiserslautern this season, so he's a 5-10 minute guy right now. So, but if we're saying there was some sort of bias against the second Bundesliga player, yes,
it's possible. He didn't give it a look. That's the thing, right?
No
scoring goals, didn't even get a look.
None.
I mean, he obviously rated Pepe and Sargent and even Ferreira at that point higher.
The other two are fine, but Ferreira,
but he does bring up Hadji too. But then again, Hadji had his chances too with the national team. And
he played the World Cup. Yeah,
mixed results.
He played the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a
Apparently,
grudge against Haji.
Apparently, Green's dad said he wasn't getting called up because he's black.
No, that's not true. There's plenty of black players on the team. So.
Well, I know that too, but I'm just saying that maybe I'm not discrediting Larry saying that Green's dad didn't say that, but I'm discrediting that statement by saying yes, there are plenty of black people on the team.
There are lots of black players on the team. Yes.
So yeah,
they're actually aren't they the majority of the team? McKinney, Adams, Musa.
At least the starting.
Let's see, Weah, center backs last time were Richards, and is it McKenzie?
Basically, anybody not Zimmerman or Ream.
Dest on the right, Jedi on the left. Yeah, that's our team's like 90% black, so I think we're good there. J. Frank Parnell, Geo. Yes, this could be a grudge, but he's gonna have to get over that one, isn't he? Yes, he is. There's no getting around it. Quit making this about you, Gregg. This team isn't about you. You don't get to go out there and talk about you and your fucking grand leadership abilities and your ability to build a professional learning community of players where the players council who all suck your cock and then repeat the same shit that you say. This is not about you. Don't go on fucking do interviews. I don't remember Bruce Arena or Bob Bradley doing these interviews about back passes in his shoes and all this. It's not important. It's not about you.
They certainly made Gregg a celebrity in this situation, right?
System. I hear another person puke back his comments about how the system. Listen, it's not about you, Gregg. And that's the problem. Let the players play. And stop going to leadership conferences and giving speeches and hanging out with turds who are not moral leaders at all and pretending you are one of the moral leaders on the planet, because you're not. And you're really not that smart of a guy either. So let's stop pretending that too. Let's quit making this about you. Let's just stop that. Let's just focus on the team. And that's all I want to hear you talk about. The players, where we're headed as a team, what works best for this group of players, not you and your system. I don't want to hear anything about you and what you think is best. I want to hear what's best for the team. I'm sick of hearing about you and what you want and what your vision is and what your leadership skills and abilities are. I don't want to hear any more about that. I don't want to see any more fucking articles about it. I don't want to see any article about you hanging out with some fucking rich prick in his backyard overlooking a lake and you were going to go sailing, but your conversation became so fucking goddamn copuletic that you had to fucking give each other hand jobs before you could act, and you never made it to the sailboats. Never made it to the sailboats. There's fucking sperm flying everywhere because of the leadership things you guys had fucking invested your brains into. I'm sick of that. Done with it. I don't want any more about you. I want it to be about the team from here on out. Can we go back to the Bob Bradley days? Because Bob Bradley never talked about himself at all. At all. No one cared. And that's where it should be. I don't hear any coaches talk about themselves as much as Gregg.
The change in the mainstream media and the coaches over the players started with Klinsman. And from that point on, it was not all about. Let me rephrase this: the coaches were made just as much of a celebrity as the players were, and quite frankly, everybody goes into the national team games wanting to watch the team play. They don't give a rat's ass about what shoes the coach has, whether or not he's got a Starbucks mug from insert random city here. They just they cared about the players. Now it's sort of like the coach is one aspect of the focal points of the mainstream media, and not quite frankly the fans in that situation too. Because we talk about Gregg a lot, but that's because he's a like I said, he's basically a celebrity at this point.
Yeah, but even though Clinton was a semi-celebrity, he always talked about it this way. So I set the team up, and they go out on the field, and they perform. It's up to them when they go on the field to perform. It's not about me. That is not what we hear from Gregg, right? That's a totally different thing than we hear from Gregg. Klinsmann was all about, listen, you give them the basics, you give them a basic structure. It's all about the players and their heart and their grind and their grit and their will to play. We give them the basics. After that, it's kind of out of my hands. It's not about me. Klinsmann never said it's about me and my system and how great I am. He never said that, ever. This guy says it on the regular and has his players repeat it in interviews about his system. Well, we're playing Gregg's system. So it's all about Gregg. Fuck Gregg. I'm sick of that shit. It's not about you, dickface. It's about the team. Yes, he does.
DMR says Pete does a way better Klinsmann accent. Derek, yeah, I want to take that.
He's an actor. I'm not.
He's got dialect coaches. He's like,
yes.
He's talking to his dialect coach. He's like, hey, I want to speak like this guy. And then he puts Klinsmann up there and he's like, oh, that's not hard. You do this, this, and this.
Sometimes you need to stomp them on the foot. I don't know. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Generic German accent, Derek here. Basically.
I know. I'm doing the generic shit. I'm way more German than fucking Pete is. Way more. And I can't even do it. All right.
Well, it's the equivalent of somebody abroad just picking a random Southern accent or New York accent and saying this is an American accent. Well, technically, yes, it is.
For a German speaking with a German who's the American coach speaking in English in a very German accent, Pete's got it down. He really does. Pete is rocking that. I cannot do that. I'm not like an impersonator. I can do like a few, but Pete's got it down.
Derek, right. I think some of you need to take that little segment of a rant that you did there, where you painted this picture of him sailing on a boat and shit.
Kind of.
And put sticks sailing away behind you
sailing away.
Sailing away.
Oh, that's a different. I was thinking of Christopher Cross's sailing.
Crisscross?
Christopher Cross. No, not Chris Cross.
Make you jump, right?
Make you jump. Everybody jump. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're not doing that. All right, number 4.
Number 3, you mean? I mean 4.
Well, for you.
Slide 3, 4.
Yeah. Stop the bullshit and dumb slogans. And when I say stop the bullshit, I mean stop lying about shit that you don't need to lie about. There is no reason to lie about Reina being injured during the World Cup. Stop lying about it. If you would have just stuck to the truth, it would have been better for you. Stop lying about John Brooks. Just fucking be honest. If he doesn't fit in your system and you don't think he fits with the team culturally, just fucking say it. Just get it over with. Spare us all.
Pull the fucking Band-Aid off.
I will stop talking about John Brooks as soon as you are honest about it. So stop the bullshit. And there's plenty of other bullshit we're not going to bring up here because we've gone through the bullshit so many times on this show. I don't even want to talk about it anymore, especially through the whole, oh, yeah, I'm getting blackmailed thing. You're not getting blackmail, motherfucker.
Well, he never said the word blackmail. He just
insinuated it. He did. He did insinuate it.
This specific character, this bad character over here, is holding information over my head to try to get something in return. I don't know what word you're thinking of when you think of that, but that's the definition of what I'm thinking.
Exactly. And when I also say stop the bullshit, I mean stop making up bullshit when you gotta read the room, dude. You don't lose to Canada and say, hey, we dominated the game. No more of that. That's got to stop. That's got to end. I don't want to ever hear that again. Don't want to hear anything like that.
You say, yeah, we flat out dominated possession, but they scored more goals than us.
He said we dominated the game.
We got to work on that. We got to work on that. That's what I'm saying. That's what he should have said. Some along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely killed them on the number of corner kicks, but they scored goals and we didn't. So fuck.
Yep. It's just there's no point in saying bullshit. Don't lie to people when you don't have to. Yeah. It's my main point there. And dumb slogans. Stop with we're going to change the way the world views American soccer. We're going to change the way Americans view American soccer. Fuck that shit. That is unimportant. Just do your fucking job and all of those things will happen on their own. You don't need to make a proclamation to anybody. Anybody. No one needs to hear that shit because it comes off clownish. Even when McKenny said it with a grin, it sounded clownish.
So, Derek, you remember back in 2010 World Cup, the song that came up whenever the World Cup was coming up close for the United States is the "Over There." And it got, I loved it at the time, and I still kind of think that was fun. But I really want when Berhalter or anybody has these moments where they do these slogans, the "We'll change the way the world views American soccer." In the background, there has to be like the "Over There."
Yeah, I mean, McKenny said it, and then in a future post game, I think it was, Gregg said it, and it just gets so annoying.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to hear African dogs ever again. That was just so bad, Jack. You're so right. Just appalling.
Oh, African dogs. I forgot all about this one, though.
Each player forced to wear a T-shirt with their own personal slogans on the back to take the field. That's a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's just not necessary. None of that's necessary. You're there to focus on one fucking thing, and that is the game.
Put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah.
That's all. Like, all these dumb slogans aren't going to amount to a hill of beans unless it actually is reflected on the field. And we don't even know if we've changed the way the rest of the world views American soccer. Because I think if you listen to EPB, there's still shit out there. People are like, oh, shit, we got an American on our team? Yeah, this shit's still true.
Well,
and Gregg didn't change that much shit at the World Cup. And by the way, it's the players who are going to change that, not Gregg. With more players playing on top teams and top leagues and doing damage, that's what changes the way people view American soccer.
You know which country changed the way the world viewed said country?
Who?
That's Japan. There are articles that have recently come out talking about, like, when did Japan become so good and stuff like that? Like,
Korea,
over time,
Korea has a lot of good players.
Improving.
Yeah,
I mean, they're the ones that are changing the way that people are viewing their national team. Where they're looking at us and like, well, which American team are we going to get? I mean, because that's the thing, right? Every game, it could be a different American team. We could struggle against El Salvador, but then whatever, hang
tie
with
England. But we play totally different ways in both of those games.
Sure, fair enough.
So, so no more fucking slogans. They're just not necessary is my point. Why cloud the water? No, they're not. They're laughable. They're laughed at. And I think even McKenny is kind of laughing under his breath when he announced it.
USSF gave me $400 to say this in the presser. It works. I've got a champagne fix. I need funds for. So
I guess. I mean, I really think that McKenny brought light to it on purpose.
To laugh at, or
yes,
because he really believes we're going to change how Americans view it. Doesn't that seem like a downgrade? Quite frankly, we're going to go from changing the way the world views American soccer to how Americans view American soccer. It feels like it's a downgrade.
It seems like a downgrade to me. Like, okay, yeah, let's just give up.
The world think, what were we thinking? Let's start at home first.
Why don't you just shut up about all of it, you dumb fucks, and not say any of it? How about we're going to focus on doing the best we can in this upcoming World Cup? I mean, that's all that needs to be said. We don't need to say we're shooting for a semifinal. We don't even have to say that much. That's just ridiculous. So you're shooting to not get in the final? You're going to be happy with losing in the semifinal. Don't say any of it. Don't let anybody know what your expectations are. That's between you and your players. You get interviewed, of course you say, listen, we're going to do our best to win the tournament. That's the goal. I'm not going to say it's going to happen 100%. We got a lot of work to do to get there, but that's the goal, to win the tournament. And if otherwise, why are you there? To make baby steps forward from the quarterfinal we played in 2002 and go one step further than Bruce did? I mean, let's just be real about it. If you're not going there to win it at home, then you shouldn't talk about it at all. I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't say, hey, yeah, we're shooting for a semifinal. If we don't get there, that'll be a real disappointment. No, let's shoot to get in the final and maybe have a chance to win the game. If we don't get there, people are going to still say, hey, man, at least you gave it your best shot. They're not going to hold you. It's not like you promised a victory. It just said that's what our goal is. There you go. Talk to Raina now.
Yeah.
Now. This minute. Get on the horn. This does not need a bunch of lube to happen. This does not need a bunch of butter. This isn't tango and the last tango in Paris. It just doesn't need that much lubing up to happen, right? Both of you know what the situation is. Just go in there and talk like coach and player.
Pull the fucking Band-Aid off. Get it over with. I mean, you have all of the pundits and mainstream media all saying the same thing as we are in this situation. Like, how has this not been done yet? This should have been the fucking first thing you did. After the Nations League was done and over with, and, hey, we're all celebrating, hoorah, we beat Canada. That should have been the thing. Pull them aside. Hey, get back with your club. When you're back in Germany, we'll meet up. We'll have lunch. We'll talk things over.
When the mainstream media thinks you've been delinquent, holy fuck, because they are ready there to just give you a reach around at any moment. And when they are like, oh, I ain't touching that cock. And they're like, you are way slow on this. This slower than we thought you were going to be. They were even like, you haven't talked to Raina yet? So when the mainstream media starts giving you you're getting slow on this, then you are slow. And I don't want to hear that excuse like this needs to be eased into slowly, with a lot of lubrication from a outside consultant. I don't want to hear that shit, dude. Be a man and fucking set up a meeting with you and BJ or whatever, whoever you need to hold your hand and go have a man-to-man talk with a fucking 18, 19-year-old. How hard is that? It's not that hard. Everyone is aware of the situation.
Again, and it's also a 19 or 20-year-old or whatever that you've known for 19 or 20 years. So,
I mean, that can complicate it, but
it could be awkward, yes. But fucking be a man, be an adult in this situation, and say, "Hey, I'm the manager. You're a player. We need to get this working out. Let's sit down. Let's talk it out. We don't need to be friends, but we do need to work together."
Yes, and Raina's already publicly said he's willing to play for Gregg. He's already put it out there in the ether.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong in this situation.
Isn't answer Gregg's message, guys. We don't know that
Gio wasn't answering Gregg's messages.
Well, that's when you don't have Gregg make the call. You make it BJ make the call.
Well, and from what we've heard from not just Diego, but multiple sources in the media, there was actually interest to meet up.
Yes,
during the summer.
Correct.
So it's not like Gio's like, oh, it's fucking Gregg's calling me again. That's not a thing. It's not happening.
No, that's not what happened. I don't know where you're hearing that because Gio, through our sources, was absolutely ready to meet Gregg. And then Gregg took an Alaskan fishing trip. Instead of coming, as was planned by BJ, had sort of worked something out where they could all meet together. Gregg had a trip planned. So it got canceled. Oh, man, scratchy throat. All right, what else?
It's a silly point to be making here because, I mean, Gio's actually come out and flat out stated that he wants to play for the Nats. He's ready to.
Yes,
he'll do whatever.
He doesn't care who the coach is.
He doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah, it happens.
So he's willing to suck it up. So let's just and
get
it over with.
The only information we have from Gregg's side is that he's scheduling a sit down with a mediator.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not sure how to really take that.
I don't either. RD Rap 13. $1.99. Thank you, brother. We do appreciate it. I'm so sick of having to look and listen to Gregg. It's so funny when he first came back. I was like, okay, Derek, just be open, be nice. Let's let Gregg start over again. And first few interviews, it's like, okay, I'm fine. I'm okay with that. And then we got to these friendlies, and it just turned the other direction almost immediately for me. As soon as we came out in 4-3-3, as soon as we started playing horrible ball against Uzbekistan, and it looked like the same shit we saw before, when there were no adjustments made as usual until the last 10 minutes. Yeah, it was just like Gregg ball all over again. It's just not what I wanted to see. And it just made me kind of like, all right, Gregg, you're pulling me back to the dark side on you. I was willing to see if you would learn something from watching BJ and Hudson. He learned absolutely nothing.
I think, again, ultimately, I think Gregg's going to want to clear the air and get things situated with Gio. But it is an awkward situation. It really is.
It is.
But again, you're the adult in the situation. Man up. And quite frankly, I mean, again, you can't blame Gio for the sins of his father and his mom in this situation.
And
what else has Gio done? What has Gio done in this situation to make it that awkward?
So it is possibly very true that he won't take Gregg's calls. But from what we understand, he did take BJ's call, and that he was willing to meet up with BJ and Gregg. But he didn't want him that he wanted to do that in person. He did not want to take a phone call from Gregg. He wanted to meet him in person, and that was going to be the meeting. And Gregg went on a fishing trip to Alaska. So there you go. That's what we have heard.
And on top of that, I mean, why would he be? If Gregg is scheduling a sit down with a mediator, why would Gregg be reaching out to Gio in the first place?
Yeah,
isn't that the whole point of having a mediator?
That's correct.
He's the playthrough,
right? Because he's already publicly said that.
What phone call from Gregg is he ignoring? Because
we
there's
don't know.
Be a mediator there. So I mean, come on.
He's got in contact with some of the best mediators in the world from the Immoral Leadership Conference. So he's ready to move forward. Not quite yet, though. All right, number 2. Even flow.
Colin called us out on bullshit, and then he hasn't chimed back in since. So I don't know.
Bullshit. What does Colin know? Colin, you got contacts inside U.S. soccer we don't know about? Because we do. Okay.
He mentioned a presser where Gregg said something along the lines of like he's not answering my calls, or something along those lines. I don't know what that means.
Not answering his calls.
Let me see if I can find that.
No, Gregg. If Gregg says he's not answering his calls, Gregg is saying, I'm calling Gio and he's not answering my calls. I won't say he's never responding. He's not necessarily to Gregg personally, but he did respond to BJ's call for the setup for a meeting. He did, in fact, respond to that. So what? I don't know. We're talking semantics at this point.
It really is.
Colin. We really are. It's just semantics. Fix the 9. This is so simple. I don't know if we need to talk about this anymore, Brett, because we've hammered this to the ground. If fucking goddamn Balogun has to come back and play like a fucking 10 or a midfielder to get involved in the game, we are starting from point 0. We're going right on back to the same Berhalter ball we watched before. And that is Berhalter ball that disappeared under BJ and under Hudson when the 9s were more involved. What more can be said?
Well, and so there are a number of people that are bringing up the concept of how we play with kind of a 10 when Psic checks back into the middle.
It's just not the same.
It's not the same because he's not always in the middle. Whereas when we played that 4-2-3-1 style, you always had. And I know there are times you could take screen caps of where Gio is back beyond Musa and McKinney at times
on defense.
Sure.
And build up.
And build up. But there, more often than not, he was further up the pitch. He was more advanced roles. And he filled in that role where the 9 didn't have to check back.
That's correct.
Did not have to check back in
he
Nations
did not.
League.
Correct.
I mean, not saying he didn't, but I'm saying that more often than not, he didn't have to in order to get the ball. He was in more advanced roles himself. And he even talked about how Hudson and BJ are allowing him to play more freely. Yes.
And
he has the freedom to move to play.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, but it's different when you have a designated offensive-minded midfielder that may have some responsibilities coming back, but not often. And he's constantly filling that void where our 9 constantly has to check back. And we saw it just recently with Balogun.
Yes.
Less with Pepe because Pepe came in later in the matches and we kind of stayed up.
He's still checked back a few times, though.
But yeah, Balogun, I can't tell you how many times I texted you in both matches saying, man, Balogun's having to check back into our defensive third just to get the fucking ball.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And that needs to be fixed. And if you don't want to listen to us, that's fine. But listen to fucking Pepe in his interview where he says this system that we're playing, was it Hudson or is it BJ?
Hudson initially, but then BJ took over Nations League itself, finals.
Yeah, he's like, I have so much more freedom to do things now. And I think the whole team's been kind of freed up. And even if it's sometimes 4-3-3, there was just much more freedom to move around and do what needed to be done to open up space. But it wasn't mathematical. It wasn't a fucking system, a mathematical system where you overload on a wing, which is what Gregg loves to do, by the way. You can quote him. He says it all the time.
Yeah.
We want to overload on this wing or overload on that wing. Fuck this shit, dude. Quit playing down the fucking wing. The fucking middle of the field's wide fucking open.
Well,
but you got no one in the pocket.
When people talk about when we played the 4-3-3 with this last window, when it was like Luka, Musa, and McKinney, that McKinney was playing that Geo role and that more advanced role. But even if McKinney was playing more advanced in the midfield, he's not the same player as Geo.
And
they have two completely different mindsets and how they handle the game. They approach it completely different.
And he didn't play as not like a pure 10. All right, so I'd call what Reyna played often as sort of a 10.
Close enough to a fucking 10 as we can.
Much closer to a 10 than a 10-8.
Yeah.
A 10/8. So especially in possession in the other team's half. Now, in build-up, it looked a little different. It certainly looked different in defense. But once we had the ball and we had possession, Reyna was in the middle of the field. And I'd rather have Reyna there. Don't tell me Psic is this some magical fucking CAM. Because he just isn't, folks. I'm sorry. That's not really his bag of fucking tricks. He's better out. He's best played out on the left wing.
So Psic is not going to be receiving the ball in the midfield and then splitting the seams. That's not his shtick. He is great coming into the middle and drawing a foul, and he is great taking his man on in the wing. Those are his biggest strengths, really, when it comes to where he needs to play in this team. He is not not Geo. We don't have another Geo. That's the problem, right? We've witnessed this. We brought Tillman in. He's like Geo light.
Yes,
so
he is.
It's not the same. And unfortunately, we don't have a replacement for him, so we have to make do when he's not healthy. And it is what it is.
But even Tillman looked good once we played that way.
Yeah.
So there you go. And number 1. We've already mentioned this 1,000 times. Loosen your fucking asshole lips, Gregg, and let these kids play. Fuck your stupid system. Loosen it up. Quit making the 9s come back and play in the midfield. Fucking loosen shit up, just like Pepe said.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, again, it's when your team is looking 3 steps ahead of where I need to be. I need to be over here. No, I need to do this over there. Instead of just reading the game and just free flowing it a bit. Like it's fine having an idea of what you want to do. Hey, we're going to do a 4-3-3. We want to press high. You're going to be here. You're going to be there. But it's not like, hey, if Psic checks in over here, I need Jedi. I need you to go over there. And then I need Musa and McKinney. You guys need to be doing this over here. There shouldn't be all these extra steps. Quite frankly, I think with the national team, it should be a very straightforward. Hey, we're going to be lining up in this formation. Here's what we want to do. But you guys read the game because you're the ones that are out there.
And it's so overly deliberate, Brett. Like to the point where I was watching the Uzbekistan game. And it's like, okay, we're going to overload the left on this particular. It's like, okay, you're going to overload it. So, yeah, you had Weah and Psic on the same wing at one point. You're like, well, okay, they're This is Gregg's overload. All right. He's actually bringing the right winger over to overload the left. You're like, that's just so obvious. And yet there was nobody in the middle of the field, no one outright to take advantage of anything they might have done on the left. It's just, it's just jamming something into a small hole. And there's just simply not enough lubrication to make that happen because it's so obvious because you're being so deliberate about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, we need to loosen the fucking sphincter and let these kids, let them bake. Let them bake. Fuck Betty Crocker. Let them bake. Let them doing some baking here. Let them come up with the answer. You don't need to be the answer, Gregg, because it's not about you, you dickhead. It's about what works with these players. Let them display their artistry, their ability to think on their toes, their ability to make switches on their own based on their natural understanding of what's going on in the game. Yes, I'm not asking you to say, oh, well, I'm not going to give them a foundation. Yes, you provide the foundation, but you don't strangle them and constipate them with a system where they look like fucking robots out there. And we started looking like robots again against Uzbekistan. And we had stripped the robotics shit under Hudson and BJ. It was gone. And then we were back.
We
beat
Uzbekistan 3-0.
Oh, and that's a good one, Ken P. And that would be number 7, probably.
Yeah.
Pulisic got to stop taking set pieces, dude.
Oh, my God.
I don't care who's out there. If Dest's out there, let Dest take set pieces. Somebody else.
Let Reem take it.
Yes.
Let Aronson take it. Those there. I take Reem out of the box. Who you can get up in the header. I don't care. But put him in there and let him take those.
When's the last time Reem scored a header?
When have we scored off a set piece when it's not McKinney?
So Reem's not going to score a header goal anyhow, more than
likely.
Oh,
there you go. Can P answers you right away.
Aronson, yeah.
I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, all right. So, folks, that's it. Those are our now 7 things that Gregg needs to do to fix the team, to fix himself, mostly to fix himself. Stop being such an arrogant, stubborn cocksucker. And just worry about what works best for this team, not his system. It ain't about you, Gregg, so hang it up, brother. Let's think about the team. I have never in my life ever watched a U.S. men's national team that was so focused on the goddamn manager. Like, it's never been like this. You said Klinsmann, but even Klinsmann's like, it ain't about me. I just set them up. They got to go out and do it.
I guess Klinsmann was still kind of a personality within the media, though. It's what I'm kind of getting at there, I guess. It's not quite like this where it literally is my system,
Well, and Gregg's an MLS and U.S. soccer cocksucker, whereas Klinsmann was not.
Yeah.
Klinsmann was like, guys got to go to Europe if they want to get better, right? That's totally against. I mean, I think Gregg mostly pushes players to Europe if they're ready to go. So I won't hold that against him necessarily. But, he did hold on to some long-term fucking MLS pricks who didn't deserve to be there for a long time and actually played them in the World Cup, like Shaquille Moore and fucking Jordan Morris, guys who really didn't even deserve to be there, honestly. So, Yedlin, my system. All right, guys, we love you, whatever the 74 of you or whatever that showed up.
True? Did Gregg get a $600,000 a year increase in his pay?
It just covered the
inflation's a bitch, right?
No, it covered the massage gal that shows up and her $600 salary every day for happy endings. So anyhow, listen, share this with your grandma, your grandpa, your sisters, your stepsister. You should definitely share this with her. Like if you guys are intimate close, right? Well, no, I'm assuming they already have some sort of close relationship, but this is a great way.
Yeah. The icebreaker, she watches this with you, and at the very end, we talk about stooping your stepsister, and then she looks over and he's like,
"Yep." If you are, and that's in fact what you've done, this is the time for you to at least hold hands and maybe look each other deep in the eyes and consider what's possible. Because guess what? You're not legally doing anything wrong, and anything's possible, right? Hell yeah. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, we'll see you on Monday.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.
That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm articulate and intelligent.
Gregg's a bitch.